What is going on, guys? I'm Ezra. Welcome back to my Building the Bag series. This is the final episode and I'm talking about throwing puddles. I've got 9 of the ones that I've been trying out, and I'm going to show you guys how they fly and then talk about each one individually and see which ones I think will be making my bag. So let's get right into it. So the first 2 discs I threw were Challengers. The first one was a Challenger SS, and for being the SS version, it's actually kind of stable. So this had like a nice straight to kind of oval stable finishing flight, which was actually really nice. And I like the feel of this as well, so I could see myself bagging this, but I've got some other discs that I kind of prefer the feel of, and so this probably will not be making my bag, but definitely worth trying out. Next up was a Challenger. Both of these were in Pro D plastic, by the way. And I really like the flight of this Challenger disc. Nice and kind of consistently slightly oval stable, which is kind of exactly what I want in a puddle. This has a bead on it, which is kind of the only reason that kind of makes me hesitant about bagging it, since I'm not really used to a beaded puddle. But I do kind of want to try this out in a more premium plastic and see how I like that, because I do like the flight so much. But for right now, this will not be making my bag. And then I threw a Challenger OS. This is ESP Swirl, and this is like super oval stable, and it basically flies like a zone, and for that reason I think there's no reason for me to have this in my bag as well as zone, since I can just throw a zone instead. But this is a very nice oval stable flight, also has a bead on it, but not going to make my bag. Next up, I threw a Crystal Fierce. Even though this has a Luna stamp on it, it is a Fierce. I threw that one kind of bad, way too flat, a little Annie even, and just kind of dumped over. But when I do throw this on like a little bit of hyzer, it'll flip up, then glide right, and just glide so long. It has some of the most glide for a puddle that I've ever seen, and you can get a lot of distance with this and kind of shape wood shots where you want it to kind of turn over and then just hold that line. So super nice flight. I actually had this in my bag for quite a while, but right now it's not in my bag since I've kind of found a replacement. But yeah, definitely a really nice disc. And then I threw a Crystal Luna, and this has been an absolute workhorse for me. I've had this in my bag since the beginning of the season, and I really love the feel of it and the flight of it. Kind of stiff, but you can still get a really good grip on it, and has that nice, like, slightly oval stable finishing flight, which is pretty ideal. So I haven't been throwing this as much lately since I have found a replacement, which I'll talk about soon. But this is still in my bag right now, and yeah, awesome disc. Next up, I threw some Roaches, and this is actually my favorite mold of puddle in the Discraft lineup. I prefer the feel of this disc over all the other puddles, and yeah, so the first one was a Pro D Roach, and I had one in my bag that was already beat in, and it was super nice because obviously Being Pro D, it'll just kind of hit the ground and stop, won't skip as much as a premium plastic disc. So I'm hoping to beat this one into kind of that same understable flight, and then this will find its way back in my bag most likely. Right now, a little bit too overstable, doesn't really have a slot in my bag, but definitely could see this making the bag once it is a little bit more understable. I could even see beating one of these Jawbreaker Roaches in to have that same flight plate. Being baseline, it has kind of the same strengths as the Pro D one. Well, it's just kind of soft and sticks and it doesn't really skip or slide as much. But I think I prefer the feel of the Pro D one a little bit more, and I think it'll stay a little bit stiffer than the Jawbreaker one. So for that reason, probably not making the bag, but I could see the Pro D one making my bag. Then I threw a Tour Series Z Roach, and this one's really stiff, which I'm not a huge fan of. It has a good feel, and it's not like super stiff, but just a little bit more stiff than ideal for me. But I really like the flight. It has basically the exact same flight as that Crystal Luna, so I could see this making the bag and kind of replacing that Luna if I did want that. But I think for right now, I'll keep the Luna in my bag, and this Roach will probably not be making the bag. And then last but definitely not least, probably most actually if we wanted to go opposite of least, I threw a Crystal Z Glo Roach with my name on it. So shout out to Discraft and OTB Discs for making this happen. These things are absolutely sick. I don't know if there's any left on otbdiscs.com. They've kind of been doing a bunch of little drops over the last couple weeks, so hopefully you can get your hands on some if you still want to. But I really love the flight of these. This one is like super straight flying, and it holds basically any line. If I want it to just go on a little bit of Annie the whole way, it'll hold that. A little bit of Hyzer, it'll hold that. And yeah, it's super shapeable. So this definitely finds a spot in my bag. I actually bag 3 of these Roaches right now. I have a puddle top one that's a little bit understable, and then a more domey one that's a little bit more overstable, even though I think that one will come out of my bag, and I'll probably just throw the Luna since I feel like the Luna has a little bit more stability than that one. But these things are sick. Really nice feel, nice flight, obviously. A little bit gummier than I was expecting, so I think there's actually some flex in these. But if you like that feel and the grip that you get with that flex, you'll really like these. So obviously, you know, they go like 400 feet, so definitely not a bad distance for a putter. And yeah, so far I've been loving these, and I think I'll have 2 in my bag, you know, for the near future. So yeah, that is it for my puddles. Alright, so I think for the throwing puddle slots in my bag, I will have a Pro D Roach that's slightly beat in to have a nice little understable flight that I can expect to not skip and slide when it hits the ground. And then for an understable premium flight, I'll use a Crystal Z Glo Roach that's either been beat in or just starts out as puddle top to have that understable flight. And then for the straight flight that's really shapeable, I'll have that Crystal Z Glo Roach that you saw me throw. And then for the overstable flight, I will have probably that Crystal Luna, maybe a Big Z Roach. I know those are coming out pretty soon, so I'm excited for those. Or even a Challenger, I could see bagging one of those. But yeah, that is it for my throwing puddle lineup. Thanks for watching the final episode of the Building the Bag series and all of the other videos in this series. It was a lot of fun to make. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and got some good ideas as to what you maybe want to throw. If you guys throw any of these discs or any other puddles that I maybe missed, definitely comment down below and let me know what you think I should throw. But with that being said, thank you all for watching. If you want to like and subscribe, that would help out a ton. And yeah, thanks again. I will see you in the next one.